Electricity Minister Dr Kgosientsho Ramokgopa is continuing with his oversight visits to Eskom power stations. This morning he is expected at Medupi Power Plant, this is in Limpopo, as part of the Energy Action Plan to try to end load shedding. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba following that story for us, and we find him in Lephalale, and that's where the Medupi Power Plant is stationed. Ziniko, good morning to you. The story of trying to end load shedding and the minister's visits to the power stations. How much value is in this? Is this some kind of a motivation exercise by the minister to these workers? At one point, during one of his visits, I think it was in Mpumalanga, almost promising that workers would be smiling this festive season if, indeed, they worked very hard to keep the power plants running.
Well, Colin, it's going to be interesting when we engage with the electricity minister in a moment as soon as he arrives, Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, who's on a tour, if I may put it in that way, where he's visiting different and various power stations in the country, especially the strategic ones. So I think the issue of trying to engage with the lower structures of Eskom, especially those that are responsible for operational responsibilities, just to get a sense of how the situation is on the ground is very, very important, but also to have that personal experience, that first-hand experience and sight of the operations on the ground is very, very important, as you've been saying that, he's under a lot of pressure in terms of having to ensure that he's keeping the lights on. Remember that, the Medupi Power Station, the conversations and the construction work started back in 2007. That's almost over 10 years ago. So that's where we find ourselves today, here in Limpopo, just on the western side of Lephalale. So let me give you a background of what we are talking about so that you get a sense and the viewers get a sense of how big and how important this power plant is. So as I said earlier on, that the construction work started far back in 2007, and the first commissioning and the construction has been taking place since then, and in terms of having different units being able now to deliver the electricity to the national grid started as back as 2015. So I think this is one of the most important national key points when it comes to energy production in South Africa. So we'll see how the minister is going to be tackling this visit and what is it that he's looking for. As you can see, that convoy of various stakeholders and members of the executive of Eskom, and I assume now that the minister is on his way. As you see, these motor vehicles that are coming in from this particular entrance just on the side of this unit. So this is a unit that, this is a power station that has 6 units. And remember that in 2021 there was a unit that was damaged through fire, and government through their various leaders in terms of the Ministry of State-owned and enterprises have been trying to get it back online so that it contributes maximally to the national grid. So today it's all about checking how operations are in this particular power station, but also we'll try, maybe if we do get an opportunity in the afternoon, just to engage with various communities in and around Medupi, just to get a sense of what is the immediate impact of the presence of one of the biggest power stations in Africa and fourth in the world when it comes to coal, being coal powered. How is it impacting the locals here? And I understand that there are some communities that do not have electricity, which is very strange. They're just near one of the biggest power stations in the country and on the continent, but they are struggling, to access electricity. Well, this power station might not have direct impact on their lives as far as electricity is concerned, but how are they feeling? What conversations has government been having with them? But all that will be unfolding throughout the day. As I said, we're just waiting for the minister's going to brief us, and then we start with the talk. So it's going to be a very, very long day for us and the minister himself, but we'll try to get all those answers in terms of, is he here to motivate, or is he here to on a fact-finding mission, so that we then engage with him in terms of what is this visit going to produce, and what is it going to contribute in terms of minimizing the impact of load shedding on the lives of South Africans in general.
Ziniko Mhlaba live for us in Lephalale, and that is where Medupi Power Station is located.